We're going to do just a quick email marketing kind of setup. Now, I am not a marketing expert, just so everybody knows. I'm not a marketing expert. So if I set one up for you and I write it and you get nothing, don't be surprised. So, and also please don't fire me. So, people are way smarter at this than me. In fact, our chief marketing officer, Joel, he might be joining us as well. He does this stuff for a living. But we have a new tool that I'm going to show you. And the tool is not quite yet ready for prime time, but we're going to have it done pretty soon. And then it's really easy just to copy the messages right into First Contact and start up the workflow. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And this is something that, has been bugging me because I need to send marketing emails, obviously for my business. Um, and there's a certain format. There's one called the AIDA, the IDA format, and it's a certain framework for how these marketing messages are set up. Now, of course, I've completely blanked on what that means. I'm going to look that up. If anyone else knows, please. Yeah, foundational marketing advertising framework for four essential stages in a consumer, for a consumer passing through before purchase. Attention, interest, desire, and action. So IDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. And I guess it's been around for a long time. It's kind of linked to human psychology. And a lot of the marketing firms, they use this. And so when you get marketing emails, if you see like a marketing email that really grabbed your attention, um, save it. I save tons of emails. This one guy that is my competitor, and let me pull them open here. The big thing here with marketing is a lot of this has been done before, and we just need to make sure we're following suit with whatever it is that our competitors are doing, but also how do we make it special just for us? So this guy, I follow him. And he has written all of these emails. Let's see if I can open them up. Oh, that's of course a really bad one. Let's do this one here. Oh, geez, please. Let's do this one. There we go. So this guy's name is Brian Kelly, and he runs a competing product to mine. It's called Peak Connector. And he sends out a ton of messages, and I always am kind of drawn to them. I always look at them, imagine. Like he's setting the stage right away. What if we could add $31,000 in revenue? Boom. Now I'm interested. And what if you can have 24 sales call appointments automatically, automatic follow-up and everything done for you? And then he is driving people, his call to action, his CTA is trying to get people to book an automation call with him. And he sets up his kind of credential or his experience right away here. One thing he doesn't have on here is I've actually been to some of his presentations. He's a really good salesperson. If I could hire him, I would. He's really, really good. And there's a couple other things that he did with this email that is really good in terms of process. So he has a copyright down here, always really good. He's giving people a way to unsubscribe. If you send out a bunch of email and you don't give people an unsubscribe button, you could get fined. So we want to make sure that's always there. And then this little itty bitty little line down here is very smart. So we set up these automations and they may have 20 emails in them. And let's say my friend Daniel, who's on the phone, gets one of my messages and says, Nick, this one doesn't make much sense. You need to fix it. Oh my God, I got to go through 20 emails and find out which one was this, right? So it looks like he has a little reference number that'll point him exactly to the workflow and the message itself. So it's just very helpful to have that down there. Is anybody on the call? Anybody want to share like maybe an email they've received lately that's been pretty cool, or any marketing tips for emails?
I've been getting like nonstop political ads. It's
Oh,
like I donated like $30 one day to one person,
yeah.
and then like
You've been
the
sold down the river,
it's
my friend.
been sold down the river.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like everyone from all over the country is trying to get me to, so my phone is blowing up every day.
Oh, yeah.
But they're all like pretty formulaic. It's like a picture of the person, and it's a story like, I'm not a politician. Here's my story, and here's my call to action, and here's how I'm different, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, and being different is really important. In grad school, we talked a lot about being inimitable. How do we make ourselves completely different or special so that we're really hard to copy? And so by calling out in your marketing campaigns why you're different is a really smart move. Um, a lot of this too, there's something called dopamine hijacking. And when we think or remember things that make us feel good, like with some clients, I might ask them, what's a passion project that you're working on? And they say, oh, yeah, I'm doing this really great thing for the Boy Scouts, and it's really powerful, and we're doing education, and it makes them feel good to talk about it. Well, they're going to like me more because I made them feel good in an indirect way. And so you'll notice some emails may start off with, remember that summer swimming in the lake and frying fresh caught fish, oh wow, that was great. Remember smelling that sea air, and so that's dopamine hijacking. That's another tactic. Um, we also have scarcity, sale ends on Friday, hurry up. We have comparison bias. That's where they say, $50,000. Oh, but it's on sale for 25. The 25 doesn't sound so bad now, does it? Um, I've learned a lot of these tactics, but I don't really know how to write the best emails. So, anybody else want to share? Any marketing tips? This stuff takes a village, and there's never 100% right way, and it's all science too. Which email got the most opens? Which email got the most clicks? You want to take that email and maybe have AI or have your team or your writer write more emails like that. So it's kind of we're kind of like, leapfrogging it, right? We want to get to the good spot and then do more of the good thing to get more and more moving in the right direction.
Another thing I noticed in some of the political ads is that like I was the first person to do this, or I'm the person that
Mm.
like did this thing that opened up this for everyone, you
Mm,
know.
interesting. What do you
Yeah.
think they're trying to do there?
To show value added,
Hmm.
like, and I'm gonna get stuff done.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, like how efficacious they are, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
it's interesting.
yeah,
It's
oh, go ahead.
interesting. It's interesting that you say that because I was working with using Claude to work on my LinkedIn profile. And so I said, take my resume, my accomplishments off my resume and make it more friendly, right? Instead of just cold, hard wall of text. And what it did is it went to each of my job experiences actually. And it created a paragraph that said, this is where I learned to do this.
Mm,
This job was the foundation for my career. This job is, and so you can go look on my Jane Platt LinkedIn profile and you can see in the job experience
hmm.
that's what it says. And I thought that was great to say, this is what I got from this is the first time I built this kind of system, this is the first time I learned how to do this thing. I felt like that was really, really helpful
Hmm.
to kind of put my work in context.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that. It shows that you're special because you've gone through that experience, and no one else on this planet has had that level of experience in that right order, learning
Yeah,
what right? So that's
yeah.
great. That's great.
Yeah, it creates a, yeah, I had not thought of that, but I feel like it's kind of similar to this, right? Is this is where I learned this. These are the trenches I've been in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's credibility. Another way we do that is say, I have consulted with the following organizations. I have worked with the following companies like you did. I have the following certificates. I've gone through the following training. Daniel has a lot of amazing coaching background, and he has a ton of certifications. And Jane, you got certifications, and I can't see if everybody else has certifications, which is great because it's credibility. So if he had an MBA or he had a CEP or a CSPO or an ICF certification, I would love to see that after his name. We also, I think, want emails to be slightly different each time. So I've noticed like some of his emails, let's see here. This one's interesting. If not now, then when, Nick? This is basically like get off your keister, right? And he's threw my name in here, which makes it personalized. And whenever we see our name or hear our name, it grabs our attention. May not even be us, but if we see it or hear it, we jump right in. Dale Carnegie. It's a Dale Carnegie trick. Let's see here. What would you do? Oh, now here's a different email. Now this one he has formatted a little bit different. He has these nice side panels. When I see this, I think automated. When I see this, I think he might have wrote it. And so he sends a variety of emails in different ways. This one has a lot more words. If I get an email with a lot of words, I can't handle it. It's just too much to read. I like short and sweet. Um, but I get sucked in here. Secrets. There's a date, scarcity. It's coming up. What's the value he's going to give me? Claim your spot. Blue is a very special color. It's trust and loyalty in color psychology. Let's see what happens when you go to this link. There we go. Yep. So it takes us to a nice landing page. Um, he is running a system called Peak Connector, and he sells it. He's very expensive. So I love watching him and see what he does. But he's more very niche with the types of customers that he works with, and then in a very certain price gap. And I don't want to be like that. I want to have everybody on the platform, you know, solopreneurs up to, $5 million annual revenue businesses. Okay. So, oh, here comes Ron, my friend Ron. So what I'm going to show you today might blow your socks off because you got a couple choices when you create these emails. And this is where we start. We always start with creating the emails first. And then I'm going to show you how to implement it using the tech. You can go to Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, say, you're a copyright expert, you write great emails, I'm running this business, write a bunch for me. You could do that. There's a lot of rules, though, that come into play. For example, the IDA thing that we talked about, the attention, and those four things. There's also, I've done some research on spam words. There are spam words and phrases that we want to avoid because email programs are trained through algorithms to look for those words. And if it sees them like shop now, on sale, those types of phrases and words, they're going to cause it to go right into spam. So I generated this little tool because I'm lazy and I don't want to have to think and I just want it to do what it needs to do. And we'll be making this available to all of our clients. Everybody on this call, these training sessions, they're only clients that are invited to these calls. So you'll have the ability to use this in the future for free. And what we do is we come in and we create a brand profile, and the system can scan and create one for us, or we can fill it in, like describing your brand, what are you all about? What's your target audience? Who are you wanting to go after? What's your ideal customer? It's really important to know that. because we need that to target our marketing. What are your benefits and value propositions? How can you help people? How can you make lives better for people? Um, for a CRM platform, I want to reduce the friction and make businesses operate more efficiently and effectively with AI. That's kind of my proposition there. Simplicity, faster, automation. I want results. What's your unique selling points? Is there anything special, inimitable about your business and the way that you sell and what you do that could be really helpful? And for me, I was using six, seven different tools and spending about $600 a month in subscriptions before I found and got First Contact off the ground. And so that's a no-brainer for me. Like, I don't want to have to ever spend money on all these subscriptions. And then there's kind of a sequence of four different types of emails. So we have spam words, we have the IDA framework, and now we have kind of four categories. We always start off, and if Joel was here, he'd say feed then fish. We always start off by feeding our prospects. We want to give information. We want to share stuff. We want to add value. If your first email is sign up, sale ends tomorrow, bleh, I don't want to see that. I want to see, like, hey, I'm brand new on the market. I am running a advertising agency and we just developed a new process. Here are the tips that we can give you. Here are my 5 tips on this. Here's 3 tips that I learned to speed up efficiency. Those types of phrases and that type of information is extremely helpful. And then we want to continue to nurture. And I actually have an online free course called AI for Everyone, and I'm sending that out. So I'm sending out even more value. This is the reciprocity influencing tactic. Give and receive. Sales. Okay, now we get to the sales message. I want people to sign up for a free trial. So I put my free trial link in here and say, hey, sign up. And then follow up is like, hey, do you have any questions? Would you like to see a demo? Let's chat, send me a message, that kind of stuff. And so this last one, I'm trying to get people to jump in for a demo. And the tool, I automatically pre-programmed all of those 188 phrases into the tool. So it's going to help you avoid it. It will have some of them in there potentially, but it's going to tell you how many spam words are in there. Keep it to less than 4 or 3, and you're good. And then any other rules that you want to give the tool. So I wanted to use exactly 2 line breaks between each section. I don't want to have more than 2 sentences per each section. I want short, punchy sentences only. No contractions, no emojis, no jargon, no buzzwords. This length, what's the greeting? And I'm probably going to set this as default too, so you all can use it. And then kind of a little bit more like, what's the hook? How are we going to get people's attention? That sort of thing. Okay, let's give this a try and see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna push our 14-day free trial. So the campaign name is going to be that. Let me blow this up a little bit because I know some folks have smaller monitors. And then what we do here is we'll create your brand profile and you can pick it. So if you want to have, let's say you have 3 businesses, you can create 3 profiles. The security will be set up so you only see yours. I have my customers in here because I'm helping them with some email stuff. So I'm going to pick my profile. It brings in all of my intro, nurture, sales, and follow-up. And then I can choose if I want to do, maybe I just want some intro emails and maybe some follow-up emails. And then how many messages do you want it to create? Let's see if it does 4. And then what kind of tone? This goes to your brand. Are you a life coach? You're probably going to be a little bit more friendly. Are you a lawyer? Probably more formal. Are you, I don't know, are you a public speaker and you want to like get people talking on a TED Talk? Maybe it's more conversational. But I'm going to say friendly. And the power of AI is doing its thing. And then there's a button so I can click it and it'll download everything into a Word doc. And then I can continue to tweak it. So some days I'll do this, and then at night I'll sit on the couch, drink a glass of wine, go through my emails, tweak, 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 and then in the morning I'll put it back into the system. And nobody saw that. We're just going to do this here. Of course, while I have everybody on the phone, it has to fail. Clearly, it's in beta still. I got some work to do. Let's see if we can get it to work here. And then when we get into First Contact, I'm going to show you there's several ways that we can launch a campaign. There's ones that they'll go every 5 days. People can unsubscribe if they want to get out of it or reply stop and it'll stop. There's campaigns where it waits for someone to open the email and then sends another one. There's campaigns where we can get people into it if they clicked a certain link. And those are trigger links. We can set up trigger links in the system. And I'm tap dancing while this is spinning. Does anybody have any good jokes they like to share on the call while my tool is apparently not working? Anybody? Oh, there we go. Okay. It was listening. So it tells me I got 2 spam words. And if it likes if I like what I see here, looks good. I don't know if you've heard of the M dash, but if you see a long dash between 2 words and there's no spacing, that's an M dash, and it's a very common AI trait. And I told it never do an M dash, so it takes those out. And then it also gives me a couple different subject lines. So there's, your all-in-one AI CRM awaits, welcome to First Contact, start growing with First Contact. I kind of like that. And let's go look at this next one here. Okay, let's solve business challenges together. I love that. I love solving business problems. Okay, also gives you the preview text. And this is used if you have, a lot of people have Outlook and they set it up so that they get the subject and then like the first or 2 lines when they're looking in their inbox. So that's kind of nice. And this is the syntax for pulling in a custom value. So this will say, hey, Bob. So whatever's on the contact record for that customer automatically will go in there. So I think these are pretty good. I'm going to give it a thumbs up on all of them. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs up. This is, great tone. And then it's going to learn and it's going to improve as we work forward. So now I'm going to export a Word doc and I'll show you what that looks like. So if your job at your company is to create these and then send it to your boss for review, you can do that quickly and easily, 2 seconds. It'll have a list of all the emails that are going to go out. And then each email is right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy and paste and bring them right in. Okay. Any questions on email generation? Any thoughts, feedback for me besides make it work? No? After lunch, tiredness maybe is set in.
No, I think that's pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
good. Oh, good. Okay.
it's really cool. I'm wondering how you walk the line between being, memorable and then being a pest too, right? Because I
Hmm.
would get emails, and so now I see all this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been the recipient of a lot of the emails, and if you do too many, they ignore you.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't know how you figure out what the right cadence is.
Hmm. Yeah, it's dependent on your audience. So for you, for your business, Jane, Jane's a legal ops consultant, everyone. She's starting her business, Streamline Legal Ops, if anybody needs some legal operations help. And your clientele is going to be more conservative. Junk email probably pisses them off. And so I would maybe send an email, like I have a coach, she sends an email once a month. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I would do that or every other week or
Okay.
something like that. Yeah. If you are a coach, with coaching, it's different. It's more emotional. We got to get people right when they're having the issue. That's when they pick up the phone. So we might do more emails, but make them short, make them fun, try to grab their attention. Lawyers, depends if they're ambulance chasers, they're probably firing off a lot of emails. If they're maybe at a huge firm, just looking for those big corporate clients, it's probably once a month. That's a really good point, Jane. Because we don't want to cause friction, we don't want to upset people, but it's a balance, right? We got to get our brand out. And the other thing to consider is maybe email marketing is not for your business. Maybe your marketing strategy or channel is social media or text messaging. There's so many different channels that you can use now. And all of this email and surveys, we call that fatigue, email fatigue, survey fatigue. We're kind of, oh, fill out this survey, fill out this form. Oh. So we have to make it quick and fun and easy. Otherwise, people are not going to do it. Okay.
Can you export this directly to instead of a Word doc to Outlook or something?
No, but that's an interesting question. I got them in the format so we can drop them right into a marketing campaign within First Contact.
Oh, within First Contact. Okay.
Yep. But that's a good question. I mean, you could potentially maybe you want to start sending these out of Outlook just to see kind of what response you get. Um, and look at here's the science. We want to know kind of how our emails are working. Are people
Yeah.
reading them, right? And so this is a good reason to put everything through here versus Outlook. But
Right.
yeah. I actually could export them because email has a file extension called EML, and I could do that. And you could open it and send it through Outlook. So that might be something I might do, just so for testing. Okay. So the first thing we do is we need to create some templates. And the template builders is pretty simple. All of your accounts should have some sample ones out here. There's also a ton of marketing templates already built into the system, depending on your type of business, whatever it is. But what we're going to do when we start out is we're going to do simple emails. We don't want to send a big flashy email for our first one. That'll go right into spam. Um, but for companies that have been around forever, like 3M, IBM, their emails might be a little bit more flashy, but they're well established. Their brands are well established, so they'll stay out of spam. But let's do I'm going to do just a blank template. And then there's three options. The design editor is what I prefer. This is drag and drop. We can create sections, pretty simple. Code editor, if you know HTML, website code. Some people geek out at that. They can do that. Plain text is exactly what it is. You just type it in and that's it. And this is a good place to start because the more frills, chills, and excitement, the higher chance it's going to go right into spam. Okay. So pretty plain looking here, but let's go pull open our file here. Let's go to email one. Okay, I'm gonna take that. And we're just gonna pop it in here. Easy peasy. And there we are. And then some other standards that I tend to follow is I tend to mark the size up to 16. I also am kind of bored with Arial. It kind of bores me. I've been doing more Montserrat. I just feel like it's a little bit more stylish, a little bit more polished. And there we go. So now we got our email in here. We got our custom values. So if they have a job title in their record, it's going to pop it in. So let me show you how other coaches, leaders approach this. And maybe we're going to change this a little bit. Let me show you how other life coach. Oh, yeah, actually that would work. Your title would be like life coach, consultant. So that would work. And if you don't have one, it's going to be other leaders. So that's good. And we're all leaders to some degree, even if we're not in a management position. Now, if you're a stickler about trying to be organized, and I attempt to be, I can play a good trying to be organized person. We want to give all these a name. So email one, campaign, and maybe this is my March campaign, 2026. And we're going to save that template. And then under these three dots, there's settings, and I can automatically set the subject and the pretext right here. So whenever this email is chosen, this template, it's automatically going to set this in the workflow, and we don't have to worry about it, which is kind of nice. A little bit of that upfront work, and everything happens like it should. Okay, and then subject line. Now, this is a weird subject line. If I'm sending this out cold, people are like, welcome to First Contact. What, did I sign up for something? Have you heard of First Contact? So might want to, just double check and kind of rethink how your audience would perceive something. And the other thing to think about is you may not like an email, but your customers may like it. You are not your customer. So when we get in and we start picking at emails or marketing materials, we might be actually making it worse because we're designing it for ourselves, but we may not be the person that we're actually marketing it to. So Daniel, I love that you said, can we put this into Outlook? Maybe you put it into Outlook and you have three or four customers and say, hey, I'm going to send you something. I'd love to get your feedback on it and get their reaction. It could be very valuable. Okay, so now we saved it. I'm gonna back out. And then, like I was saying, there's a couple ways we can do this. If we just want to get the email out, get it going, then we're going to go to emails and campaign, and I'm under the marketing section on the left. And I'm going to do a new campaign, and I'm going to choose from our templates. And I am going to hit this little button, and that's going to give me all the latest and greatest ones that I've changed. So we're going to open that up. And there we are. I can make some tweaks if I want to it. If I want to, please join me on a call and I have a special link. Then I'm going to hit send or schedule. Now, if you worked with me before, I've always said this. Let's take a look at the lay of the land. Okay. We can add an attachment. Don't do this though if you're just starting out. That's another reason stuff will go right into spam. We can send it right now. We can schedule it. So if we want to send it at, a good time to send emails at 6:30 in the morning, because that's when people are going to show up at 7 or 8, and that'll be right in their inbox ready to go. We can batch schedule it. So let's say we're sending out to, you can do 500,000 emails a day within this platform, but let's say we're sending it out to 3 million, we could do whatever amount we want per day for a period of days. And that can help kind of just make sure we don't get into the spam folder or blacklisted. This RSS, this is if you're doing blogs, you have a blog post. And we can set these up and you can send out a link right to your blog article right through here. And then Smart Send is what I love. This is extremely powerful. And it is going to tell me when the people I email read my emails. So I will then send email when they read the email. So let's say I want to send to all contacts. Got 11,000 people with email. And I'm going to do a smart send on this. And I'm like, okay, today's what? Thursday. Thursday, Friday. When is the best time on Thursdays and Fridays? Thursday at 1 p.m. Oh, they're giving us March 12th. So March 12th at 1. Let's just do this. Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I know are good days for email. That's when, we actually have time to think. Mondays, we're like, oh God, I gotta get caught up for the week. and Friday's like get me out of here, right? And so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those are really good days for email. And so it's saying let's send it here at this time. And we can choose, we'll choose that if we want to and schedule it. But I'm just going to send it right now, and I am going to clear all these out, and I'm going to only send it to myself. And if I can find myself, there we go. Okay. And then down here, we got some options. Well, I might need to explain this here. The smart list, these are special lists or views in your contacts. So if you have a list of all your prospects, your leads, your customers already set up in your contact section, then you could just message that list. You can choose contacts individually. There's pre-built segments also, and I really like this. We want to market to people that love us and trust us. They're already reading our email. We don't want to market to people that have never really read us or heard us, a lot. We need to kind of get them into the fold, but it's a harder lift. So there's 3,000 people that have engaged. They've opened, read, replied to emails in the last 7 days. And then it also goes back 30, 60, the last five campaigns, which subscribers were unengaged, didn't read stuff. So maybe this campaign, I want to try to pull them back in, get them into the fold. And then we can also do pre-built segments. So we can, if we tagged contacts, like these are life coaching clients or these are sports coaching clients, then we can just send to just those groups as well. So we can slice and dice by time and audience. But I'm going to go back here and we are only going to send to me. Okay. And then now, what are all these switches down here? So track clicks. We want to track the clicks because we want to know, who's clicking what. We want to know which emails are effective. UTM tracking. This is used, marketing folks know what this is. It's for tracking where people have come from. And you'll see it, like on certain, let's see here. We search for weather. This is the UTM right here. It's everything after the question mark. So the Weather Channel has some very specific things. If I go to here, yep. So this is actually sending variables into what we're doing, but you might see that UTM string up here sometime. And we want that. And tags. What if we were to call a customer if they open an email? We can add a tag to a customer saying that they opened this email and then a workflow that would automatically call them or send them another email or send them a text. Don't want to do it right away because that's a little creepy, right? We don't want to be creepy. Unless that's your thing, you can certainly be creepy if you want to be creepy. Okay. Basic campaign interaction. I just want to know who's opened the email. And I'm going to create a tag that says opened March 5th, 2026 email. And if it doesn't exist, you can click here to create it right away and hit save. And then you know what? There's probably a lot of people that are not going to read it. I'm going to resend it with a different subject. So here's the subject right here that we set. And if you remember that Dale Carnegie trick, everybody loves to see their first name, hear it, read it. That might get their attention on the second pass. So anybody that hasn't opened the email in 12 hours will get another one and it'll have their name so they can respond to it. This is a new feature that we just rolled out for email preferences. One of the worst things that could happen is a customer unsubscribes to all your messages. Hey, I never got an invoice. Oh, I never got invited to that meeting. Oh, I never got that receipt. So this allows people to pick what kind of emails they want. So maybe they just want to get away from the marketing, but they want the system messages. So they can choose the preference. Okay, it looks like I got a critical error here. Sending domain is missing. Oh, geez, I skipped a step. Okay, sender name. It's kind of nice when it comes from a person. Like instead of, Joe at dairyqueen.com. Okay. And then the sender email is just going to be that first part of the email message or part of that email address. So I'm just going to do email here. And we're going to do all domain there. And then if I want to set a custom reply, I can do that. Maybe I want these to go to my salesperson, so I can do that. Okay, so now we're going to double check everything because I accidentally sent an email to 30,000 people one day. That was a bad day. We don't want to do that. So send now from that name. And what are these? These are subdomains. So if one should be compromised or you send a lot of email, it's nice to have them come from different domains so they don't get blacklisted. Subject looks good. Preview looks good. Only going to one person. I'm going to track clicks, open, tag. I'm going to resend if they don't open. Marketing preference. Okay. Rip it and ship it, baby. Here we go. And there we go. A lot of these actions in the system, like if you delete a bunch of contacts or you send a bunch of email, it's queued up on the back end. So you can keep doing stuff. It's not going to lock up your interface while it's sending all these emails. And let's just hit refresh here. There we go. So that first email's been sent. These three little dots here, I can get to statistics. So now we get into the science of marketing. I'm going to load more. Okay, good. 100% delivery. That's good. It was only one email. And then, okay, who did it go to? And this will have details of who opened it, who clicked it, who ordered it. And maybe your salesperson needs to know who to call for follow-up. There's going to be the list right there. And you can select them all and add a tag right here, and then create a view for your salesperson so they just start calling those people. A lot of automation possibilities. Now let's see what this thing looks like here. Okay. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Let's see here. Still waiting for it to flow in. My email is so slow. Here's a marketing message though that we just were working on right now. Mark, the wonderful Mark, he's on the call. He's my new assistant. He is amazing working on these emails. But we're getting ready to send this one out. Unsubscribe. Here's that preference thing down here. There's do do do. Okay, it is really slow today for some reason. Well, I'm going to keep going because we got a little time left. Now, let's say you want to build a bigger automation. You just want to set it and forget it. Then what you're going to do is go to automations and you're going to create a workflow up here and you're going to build from a template. You also can have AI build it for you, which is nice. It won't write the emails though, so you know. And the template you're going to choose from, and there's a lot of really great templates already in here. There's ones for Facebook comments and birthdays and callback and Instagram automation. We're just going to do this email drip sequence. And a drip is exactly what it means, a drip. So it's going to send an email, wait a period of time, send an email through, wait a period of time. And if you haven't seen automations in the system yet, they're fundamentally pretty simple. There's made up of two things, triggers and actions. So what needs to happen, and then what do we want to do? And here is that first email message. So what we can do now that we have templates, we can come down here and we can pick our template. Let's see, I'm going to do, we'll just pick one. Okay. So there's a template that we had written before. Clicks, UTM, tags. Look familiar? So again, we want to probably do a tag when they open. And opened email one workflow March 2026. Okay, and hit save. And preference type, it's marketing. I know they're probably going to want to unsubscribe, but that's okay. Now, what this workflow does is it's going to wait for the person to open the message for a day, and then it's going to time out and go to the next step. If they open it, it's going to send a new email after another day. If they don't open it, it's going to send the same email with a new subject, and then it's going to wait. And then it's going to go to the next email, so on and so forth, all the way down the line. So then it's going to wait 2 days. Was it opened? Yes. We're going to send the third email. Now, back to Jane's point on like the frequency, I don't like one day between each. That seems a little too quick. So let's do 4 days. I can change this to 4 days right there. I always put the duration in the action so that I know what this is without having to open it up. Okay, and then I want to send here. I'm going to probably wait maybe 2 days, three. Mark and I were doing this. We did 3 days. And you know what? I only want to send these emails on Tuesdays, and I only want to send them between 4:30 and I kind of like to do early in the morning to early afternoon when our brains are still somewhat functional. Because this is going to get people right when they come in, and then as emails go through, it's going to get people as they're coming back from lunch. So that'll get folks there. And all we do is we just go down the line and open up this, go to templates and pop in your template and hit save. And make some adjustments there. And that's it. Now we got to test it because this is IT stuff, you got to test everything IT related. If you don't test it, it may blow up and it could be a bad day for you. So I got Daniel on the phone. We're going to see, that's interesting. There we go. Jane, I'm going to send it to you. Don't know why, Daniel. Do that. Maybe the email is somehow, there might be two emails, so it displays none there. I think Ron, I saw you on, and you're with AccuStrip. And then I think I saw Kelly O. Okay, and I think I saw Fred S. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is we're just going to do this and then I'm going to boot you out of it so that you don't get a bunch of emails. But we're going to go ahead and hit run test. And now we got some kind of cool things up here. This first one, settings, is important. If you leave this off, then people won't accidentally get kicked in again. That would be irritating. Like, oh my God, I just got all these emails again. So we can leave that off. The other thing I really care about here is this contact time zone. If I send an email at 5 a.m. Central, that's 3 a.m. Pacific. My buddies in California might be a little irritated because their phone might start dinging. So now I can say only send it at the location of the contact. And we can put in specific names and numbers if we're texting. I also like to turn this on because then in the conversation section in the system, you're not going to have 50,000 emails that are unread. And this marks everything as read. And then enrollment history. This is everybody coming into the system and kind of where they're at and what's happening, what's the next step. And then the execution logs, this is everything step by step what's happening. So let's see here. So you probably should check your email. And if you got an email from me, open it up. And then we'll take a look to see if you went to the next step in the process. So it looks like, oh, you know what? It looks like Jane opened it. So there's waiting for open, and yes came back. She did open it, and now she's in the queue for the next email after a period of time. And then we can see where people are. So who are we waiting for them to open emails? I can see a bunch of folks right here. And if maybe there's a problem with this or I fixed something and these got stalled out, I can click this here and I can advance them. And then they'll just keep going to the next stage. And so on and so forth. Let me cancel over there. Oh, I bet this is our friend Jane. Yep, we're waiting for Jane here. Now this is going to just hang out for a bit.
Nick, I actually didn't get one. Is that something that happened on your end or my end, or where would that have been? Or is it
You didn't get an email?
not?
Oh, did you look in your spam?
I will do that.
I only got mine in one of my emails, not my personal email.
Oh, okay.
I did. Subject goes here. It dumped into my spam.
Dumped in your
Mm.
spam. Yep. So it could be in spam.
Yeah,
And
there it is.
I can actually come out here and see the emails you got, Fred. So I can see here, these are blue. So these were delivered.
Yep.
When you open it after a period of time, this is going to turn green.
So I just opened the one you just sent. But yeah, they've been dumping into spam, which is interesting.
Yep. So you want to, the email that this came from is not in your address book. That's probably one thing.
Hold up.
And let's see if I can see the details. Yep. Came from Nick at messaging.1stContact.ai.
Yep.
So my business is new. We started in July last year, full force. And so our domain is not 100%, it's not IBM and 3M. So some of
Sure.
our messages will go in. If you're a little bit of a nerd like me, there is a program called Mail Hardener, and I'm leveraging this right now to improve our email health. And this can tell me all of our domains and how healthy they are and how are things configured. And so I'm actively tuning our domains all the time. So because we don't want to end up in spam. Okay. Oh, turn green. Look at that. Okay, let's go back here. Let's do a little refresh, see what else is going on. Okay, so now Fred has moved to wait on the day one, so the email was opened. Okay, good. Good, good, good. There we go. So now I'm going to unpublish, and this is going to turn it off. So even if you're in a wait, it's not going to send to you. But I'm also going to come out here and delete you guys so that you don't get a bunch of email. What questions do people have? This is a lot. And there's a recording. You'll get an email from Fred at Fireflies. But what questions do folks have? How was this process? Any feedback on it? Like, wow, that's a lot, or makes sense, doesn't make sense.
Does will the AI teach itself on based on response times or opening times to readjust maybe timing, or will it report back to you based on, hey, we get a better response when you wait 4 days, or we get a better response when you wait 3 days, or does it learn that type of thing?
If you have AI built into the system, like so there's no AI trigger in here.
Mhm.
But if you want to add AI in, it's right here.
Okay.
And so you can add it in and you can give it directions. Like, I want you to analyze when people read messages. I want you to help me figure out the next schedule. And then maybe we'll write the schedule or whenever want it to go, we can update a contact field. And maybe we set a field in here called send next message.
Okay.
And then we put a wait command for send next message. So yeah, so you could use AI to adjust as you go. You also can see statistics for all these actions too. So if I click it, there's a statistics here. And I can see that 4 messages were sent, half of you opened them, but all of them were accepted by your mail providers. So
And accepted, that means it came through, or but it could have gone into spam, or accepted means it went into your main inbox, or does that
um,
doesn't
accepted means that the server was able to get it to the next server, into your
okay.
server, but it may be in your spam, it may be in your inbox.
And we have no way of like seeing that if that happens, right? Is that space
Um,
individual, or how does that?
yeah, it's going to be individual. If you're getting a really high or really low open rate, then I'm guessing you got some spam going on.
Sure.
But
Okay.
your business has been around since 2001.
Right.
So your domain has really good reputation. You also have over 600 reviews on Google.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Google knows about you, and Google has something called the Google Postmaster. And so they know about your domain. So all of those things help to build up to your own legitimacy and whether your emails will go into inbox or spam.
Perfect.
Yeah, great questions. It's an art and a science, and it takes time and focus. And you don't want to just, the worst thing you can do is just like, well, get it out there, and like not go back and look at the data. Because we want to know, like, is it working, right? We don't want a bunch of stuff, a bunch of crap getting sent out, and we're just pissing people off.
What
So
does complaint mean? I know what unsubscribed is, assuming that was level of complaint, but how do they know? How did you had a complaint? What does that mean? Did they?
yeah, so there's unsubscribe, and then there's complaint where they reported it as spam.
Ah, okay.
So, and those, that's not great. Though that's kind of bad. Not terrible though. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Under settings and email services, this is where all those subdomains are set up. And you'll see that it's warming up, and this is going to help you get out of spam.
Yep.
And there's this domain is sent 11.189.0 and 0. But in here, we also have email analytics. And so this is going to tell us of the 12,000 emails that I've sent within the last, how many ever weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks. I've only had 83 unsubscribe.
It's good.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. 33% open rate. If you're above 10%, you're doing something right. 21% clicked. That's pretty darn good. Complained, thank goodness. I don't have any complaints out there. If you are sending a ton of email and they're all getting complained, the system is going to restrict the number of messages you can send to
Okay.
protect your domain. So that's a part of the AI. It wants you to be successful, so it's gonna say, oh, you can only send 5,000 emails today. Oh, you can only send 1,000 emails today. It'll pull back on that.
Is it selling? Is it sending them in smaller batches throughout that day, throughout that scheduled time period that you said, or is it all going out in one shot?
In the workflow,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because we talked about how, we don't want to send, I'm going to use the number 5,000 again. Sometimes you don't want to send 5,000 emails all at once because that will generate more spam
Mhm.
return where you're sending out, I want to send out 500 emails 10 times that day or whatever that is, right? So,
Yeah. So and that's a great thing to do. That's good hygiene. I would do it. I would do kind of sending them out slowly. Now, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can manually only tag people and actually have a trigger to say if they have a tag. So only
okay.
take 100 and let them go and then take another 100.
Mhm.
Or there is an action called drip, and the drip can restrict it. So this will send 100 every minute or every 10 minutes
Sure.
through the system automatically for you. And I always do this 100 10M. So I know if like I notice that statistics are not looking great, I know that this is what's going on here. So
Okay.
yeah, no, great questions. You got some IT background, I can tell, Fred.
It's just been, I've done a lot of this type of stuff through the manual process, right, with
Yeah.
other market groups and whatnot. So this is really nice, and I like this, but I've had to do it the long way. So I'm curious how we can really curious how we can build a system through you that I can just hit play and go, and it teaches itself what to do. That's what
Hmm.
that's going to be fun.
Yeah. You're gonna see something that I built a little later where AI is just gonna be sending the messages. It's gonna be writing the messages and sending them for you. You don't have to do anything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Can it respond to my wife too? Like, does that
Oh
help?
yeah, we can program that to do anything you want. We could set up
Great.
a phone number. If your kids call, we can hang up on them. We can do all sorts of things.
Awesome.
So just don't say first contact to her. Don't tell her it's
Okay.
from me.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, there's just the capabilities in the system are endless. And every once in a while, I hear from a customer doing something completely wild and different, and it's like, wow, holy crap. Um, I'm working with a franchise consultant that sells leads for franchises, and he has everything set up in here with automations and tracking, and it's just like, holy God. It took him probably a month to set it up, but it's pretty powerful. So
Cool.
yeah, looks like we're at time, but I'll hang out if anybody else wants to ask questions. If you want me to demo something, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you, Nick. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Great. It's for good food for thought. It's good to be thinking about.
Yeah, it's a lot, but have fun, play with it. You can't break it. Just play with it. So,
Sounds
okay.
great.
Thanks
Thank you.
everybody. Yep.
Mhm.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.